Yeah, amazing. I should just interject at this point. I suppose the importance of Orion, which keeps on cropping up, is because people believed it was a portal, effectively, wasn't it? And that's why Orion was so important, that it keeps on cropping up in all these alignments and everything.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, when I was writing The Missing Lands, it was the same thing. I had a whole chapter dedicated to it. I mean, we all know the famous case where Robert Bauval and Adrian Gilbert made the Orion connection with the Pyramids of Giza, and the date that goes with it. And I began to take this forward to the next level and look at other places that are associated with this alignment, and they are everywhere. Göbekli Tepe is one of them. Britain has at least 3 locations, and they kept quite quiet as well for some reason. Teotihuacan has the same connection. But I began to get more into the local traditions of what is the connection between these people and Orion. So I'm in the Yucatan. I'm asking one of my favorite Mayan teachers, who he knows more about the Mayan than anybody in the entire world, Miguel Angel Vergara, great friend of mine. And we spend a lot of time together on the trips to Yucatan, chit-chatting, and find that the whole bus is looking in on us. And he's saying, yeah, no, we still have that tradition today. I mean, the traditional Maya homes have at their center a hearth with 3 stones that mimic the belt stars of Orion, because they said that is the heart of the sky. That is from where the ancient culture comes from, not the Maya. There's a whole group of people that precede the Maya called the Its, and they were the magician priests. That's what it means. And they came from a sinking land in the middle of the Atlantic called Atoll. And we know what that story is about. And then I've picked up the story in South America with Viracocha. I picked up the same story in Easter Island. And the group of people called the Waitaha, who were one of the oldest people living in New Zealand, they've been there for thousands of years. And to this very day, the grandmothers still talk about how in the old days, the red-haired gods, the tall people, used to go from the big land in the east, which is Tiwanaku in South America, to Easter Island, to the birthplace of the gods in New Zealand, which is still there. And they used to give them information, and to the kete. It means the basket of knowledge. So next time you hear the Sumerians holding the little man bag, that's what it is. It's a bag of knowledge the gods used to dump. And they talk about how they came from, each one of them represented the belt stars of Orion. So now that this story goes all around the world, even through Egypt, the more I kept asking that, I said, well, but is this metaphoric? I said, yes and no. There's a metaphor here, which is to do with the fact that the belt stars acts as a kind of portal from where everything comes from. In fact, the cluster M62 inside the Orion constellation apparently is the actual point of creation for life, according to every culture, which I felt is incredible. They said, but at one point, you could go physically from this world to that location, whether it was by, what do they call them, the flying discs, that I hope you call them, or by a metal throne that the Egyptians describe in some of their temples. And if not, you could also go there by sending your spirit there and reappearing physically in the belt stars of Orion. So it turns out it's a kind of junction place, where, like Clapham Junction in England, where you basically disappear into all parts of the universe. And that's as far as my information is taken, because so much of it has died with the wisdom keepers that held this connection. But the one thing I did hear in China was that at one point, and this is now almost 10,000 years ago, before the flood, they said that once in a while the gods used to take a lucky human with them on this journey to Orion, to show their homeland and say, you could build yourselves a much better culture and civilization. Don't keep dragging the women by the hair into the cave and beating them up and eating meat all day long, every day. You can eat vegetables and you can still live quite well. And you can also discover language and knowledge. And this is what we built using that. And they'd shift them back to Earth, hoping that they would tell their peers in a very excited manner. They'll say, well, I've been somewhere else. I've seen a better way to live. And they become the wisdom keepers of the tribes that we know today. So at one point, there was apparently what they called a ladder to heaven. There was a way to go to the stars, connect with this ancient culture that was here on Earth of giant people with red hair and blonde hair, with the elongated skulls, who were wisdom keepers. And then at one point after the flood, they said that they withdrew the ladder to heaven because they wanted humans to figure it out for themselves.